Hello and welcome. Today I'm doing my dating and relationship advice video. I'm so excited. So let's get started. I have tons of questions. Is it true what they say about how it takes half the length of the relationship to get over the person? How long does it take? I think this definitely depends on the relationship and the seriousness of the relationship. Certain relationships are going to take longer to heal from than others. A not very serious relationship probably won't take that long to get over, but I think it's good to wait at least half the length of the relationship at least before getting into a new relationship. Just be respectful to the other person, as well as to just really process the relationship and heal if you need to heal, and just think things through and be reflect and think about what you learned. Other times though, I think if you were in a really serious relationship or just really deeply cared for the person, it's gonna take a little bit longer, and I don't think there's going to be a set number, 6 months, a year. I think there are certain people you may never get over. If you were in love with them, you may always love them on some level, and it's going to take a long time. Other people, it will take no time at all, and either is okay. Just be sure that you act in a way that is respectful to yourself and to the other person, and that you take care of yourself. Don't listen to people when they give you a number, because every single person is different, and it's going to take different people different amounts of time, and that's okay. My next question is from Twitter, and it's from @meow_meow_Maddie. And she said, yes, hello. What is a boy? How does it work? How often should I feed it? You know, boys are this thing, and they're kind of like girls, but also sometimes nothing like girls, and you need to feed them a lot. Boys eat all the time, and they just are like you, but with different body parts. The next series of questions are on bathroom etiquette. The first question is, when is it appropriate to talk about bathroom patterns with my significant other? You know, some significant others, I feel like right off the bat, you're talking about poop. Others, I think you gotta wait. I think you'll know. You definitely talk about bathroom patterns before you actually start farting in front of them. It just comes in steps. I'm able to joke and talk about poop before I'm able to actually be like, you know what, I gotta poop. And I think it depends on your partner. Sometimes this is gonna take a few weeks, some a few months, some a few years. It's hard to tell. So yeah, just wait for it, just feel it. And I would say it makes it easier to talk about it first. If you're like, let's joke about pooping and farting so that one day maybe I can fart near you. Second part of this 3-part question is it appropriate to break off my relationship if my significant other uses anything but 3 squares when she wipes? I've come to learn something, and please comment down below if you think I'm incorrect. But so far in my studies and my research that I've done, I have noticed something to be true. And that is, boys tend to be folders. They fold the toilet paper. Girls tend to be crinklers, and we crinkle the toilet paper. Now, I'm not sure if this is true for everyone, but so far everyone I've talked to, this is true. I think it's because girls use more toilet paper than boys because we wipe more things than boys do. Wow, this turned into genital talk. My mom is gonna be so proud of who I am as a person. But because of this, I think we probably use way more than 3 squares. I know I do. That's right, this turned into me talking about my bathroom habits. I gotta say, it is probably not appropriate to break off your relationship with a girl for using more than 3 squares, unless you're doing some type of nice, fancy, thick, plied toilet paper. Then she may not need that, and you can just teach her folding, and that it's better. I'm assuming that you're a folder. You seem like a folder kind of poop guy, wipe guy. So you could teach her. You could be like, listen girl, this is way better. You should fold your toilet paper and use less. Part 3 of this question is, what do I do if I'm at her parents' house for the first time and I have to drop a super stinky one? Well, I would say pee first and make sure that the toilet flushes, okay? because the last thing you want to do is clog a parent's toilet. Maybe even mid-poop, flush half of it away. I wouldn't typically recommend wasting this much water because I do, in fact, think it's a waste. But when you're at the parent's house, especially if it's for the first time and they are not ready for that, you gotta do a mid-flush. You gotta take a little poop break, flush it down, and then finish up. Because you don't want to risk it. Because the last thing you want to do is have poop. Because what do? Do you go out there and you're like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, I clogged your toilet. Or, trying to figure out something to do with it. Whether that's scoop it out or just jumping out the window. There are lots of options here if you do clog the toilet. I don't recommend scooping it out. I just recommend making a run for it. Like, even if you don't have your shoes on, just dive out the bathroom window or the nearest window and just run. Just run. Because you can't recover from that and they're not gonna let you back in their house anyway. Okay, best place to go for a first date. I personally would not recommend dinner for a first date because I think it can be awkward. Especially, sometimes it's a first date with someone you kind of know, but oftentimes it's not. I recommend doing something more active and fun that you can kind of like talk about. So mini golf, classic, always fun, a little bit competitive but not too competitive. I think that's the perfect one because you get to laugh and have fun and compete and you can talk about that and you don't have to make like super direct eye contact because sometimes you're like shy and nervous and like you're like, am I staring too much? Am I not staring in their eyes enough? Like, I don't know what to do. So that's what I recommend. Or if you're the dinner and a movie type of person, do movie first, then dinner, because it gives you something to talk about at dinner. But typically I wouldn't say movie for a first date because you don't even get to know the person, and isn't that kind of the point of dating, is getting to know someone and seeing if you'd be compatible for a relationship? So I recommend doing something easy and fun because you don't want to do something too sporty because someone might be nervous or just not very athletic and you kind of don't know at that point. So first date, nothing too difficult, but something maybe a little competitive that you can kind of talk about and have fun and have some banter. Next question is, how soon is too soon to get a tattoo of your girlfriend's name on your forehead? Oh, don't do this. Or do, but make sure she talk about it. Have a conversation before you get your significant other's name tattooed on your face. You know what? Marriage. You can, if that person is willing to marry a person with a face tattoo, lock it down, marry him, tattoo that name on your forehead. Because you're set, you've found your perfect match. You've found the one. It'll be really cool. It'll be so neat. You are so lucky. You're so lucky that you found such a special love. So now I kind of have another serious, very specific question. So they write in, I struggle in knowing where to draw the line on spoiling each other. I go out of my way throughout the year to spoil him. I love to give and I don't necessarily expect to get in return. But when I'm always the one to get him little gifts and do the little things to make him feel special, when is it my turn? He makes more money than I do, and he buys himself things all the time. I don't want to ask him to buy me things, but I want to know that he wants me to have everything in the world, and it doesn't have to be expensive. My favorite candy bar at the store would make me out of this world happy. I just don't understand why he doesn't want to spoil me when I consistently spoil him. But at the same time, I don't think I am in the right to ask for things. My advice here is that I think gift giving is probably your love language, and it definitely sounds like it's not his skill. Like, I'm sure he really appreciates it, but maybe he doesn't even realize that that's you communicating your love to him, and therefore, like, has no idea that that's how you would feel appreciated and feel loved. I think just so often, and there's obviously exceptions to this rule, but often I feel like men aren't as good at getting hints like girls are. Like, girls kind of look for things and like, ooh, everything's a hint, like really pay attention. Well, if you're good at gift giving especially, but I think boys just don't do that typically. And I think at the end of the day, you just need to communicate. And you just need to be like, Or like just really, really thank him for when he does do something for you, if he ever does, and just be like, oh my gosh, I just feel so loved and so appreciated when you remember my favorite candy bar or surprise me with like flowers or whatever. And you just need to be like, I love that so much, and that's how I feel most loved by you. And I think, if he cares about you, he'll be like, oh, awesome, like I want to make you feel loved, I want to make you feel special, and he'll just like try a little harder. And that may be too hinty still. My next question is, why do you feel that it is so hard for people these days to stay faithful to one person? I think we live in a broken world, and people are just so desperately seeking connection and intimacy and love, and they just want to feel good, and they just want to feel okay, and they just want to like find quick fixes, and they tend to cheat because that's how they think they're going to find that intimacy, that acceptance, that release. And that's not true. They aren't going to find it there. And then people keep looking, and they just never find that satisfaction. They never find that intimacy that they're craving, because I don't think when people do that, they realize that that's what they're looking for. I think instead they just feel kind of restless. They kind of feel like bored. They kind of feel like, oh, I'm with the wrong person. I guess I gotta keep looking. And in reality, they're just looking to feel accepted and feel loved. And they aren't finding it, probably from an inner issue and not at all anything to do with their partner. They just don't feel accepted and loved by themselves. And they think that someone else is going to make them feel that, but they're the only one who's going to be able to make them feel better about themselves. Another person can't make you feel good about yourself, only you can. How does one act when meeting the parents? I never know when I can stop acting super proper and let my normal weird self show. I think above all else, be yourself. And that's a cliche, but I think it's a cliche for a reason. Because if you meet the parents and you're acting like a totally different person, later when your real weird side does come out, they're gonna be like, ooh, that's not that guy we met, or that girl we met, or whatever. So be yourself, but I do definitely think that when you meet a person's parents, it's definitely okay to hold back a little bit. Be yourself, but I think it's good to listen a lot more than you speak, because you just need to get a reading on who the parents are as people and how to best respect them, because at the end of the day, I think a parent just wants to know that you are going to respect them and respect their child. And just by holding back a little, paying really close attention and just listening to what they say and being attentive and being polite and respectful and having a good handshake and making good eye contact and being kind and being patient is awesome. And then hopefully just by being respectful and by being yourself and by really paying attention to what those people need, they are going to love you, and you'll be able to be weird and be yourself way sooner by just being respectful and paying attention. How should guys go about pursuing a girl that they like? This, again, I think ties into not all girls are the same, not all boys are the same. So when you kind of like someone, definitely pay attention to how she interacts with people. Just because some girls, it's not going to work to come in like, hey baby, like with a pickup line. That's not going to work on every girl. And on some girls, that's going to work, and that's going to make them laugh and putty in your hands. But not all girls are going to be like that. So kind of look to see if her guard's up and cater to that, and always go about it respectfully. I don't think a super sexual, inappropriate pickup line is ever the way to go, because it's kind of disrespectful, and it's like, how are you... Is that what you think of me? Like, that's all I am? So definitely go in and just get to know her as a person and take an interest in her life and just ask her what she likes to do and see what makes her excited, because that's when you see a person's best self, because a person lights up when they're excited and they're talking about something they're passionate about. So if you can just find that, you can even see if you're actually interested in her, because you may be like, oh, we are actually too different. But I think just go and ask her questions and get to know her, and just be yourself. Be yourself, be yourself. But similar to meeting the parents or something, go in, hold back a little bit, and just kind of see what she's like, see what she needs, see how she's gonna feel most appreciated, and then pursue her in that way, and she'll just be way more likely to be interested in you, I feel like, if you clearly took an interest in who she is as a person and paid attention to how she responds to things, if she's more introverted or extroverted and stuff like that. Alright, this next one is just an important question. What do you do when your wife won't tell you where your super suit is? Bro, Frozone, my brother, please, if your wife won't tell you where your super suit is, I know you're gonna tell her that it's for the greater good. Remember that your wife is the greatest good you're ever gonna get. And, you know, she loves you. She wants you to save the world out there. She will help you find your super suit. This has become a weird metaphor in my mind to like, oh, teamwork, partnership, marriage. She's gonna help you find your super suit. This got weird. I'm gonna go. In closing, be yourself, be respectful, pay attention, communicate. Don't expect people to catch your hints. You just gotta tell them what you want. You have to tell your significant other what's gonna make you feel loved, and you need to ask them what's gonna make them feel loved. And you know, if you spend every day and you wake up, someone said this at a conference I was at recently, if you wake up every day and think, what can I do today to make my significant other feel better, feel loved, feel happy? What can I do for them? Then you're set, and that's all you need to do. And when they see you treating them like that and looking for ways to make them happy, if they're a good person, they're going to want to do that for you too, and they're going to want to love you back and figure out how to make you happy in return. Take care of yourself, but also like think about how you can love others, and don't get too caught up on how maybe someone isn't loving you, and instead just focus on loving them. And there's exceptions to this, because sometimes the person you're with is just kind of a jerk and you gotta just get out of there. But sometimes it's just that it's two selfish people being selfish, and when you can stop and focus on your significant other and how to make them feel important, then, I don't know, that could make some changes. You know, just help your significant other find their super suit. You know what I'm saying? Help them find their super suit. And share with your friends if you found this video helpful or fun or whatever. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!